Hello everyone, this is Junaid from DSC KIIT and I'm back with another video in the C tutorial series. In this video, we will be talking about arrays. Now, arrays are the most used data structure in programming. So, this is going to be a fun video. I'll talk about mostly arrays and how to declare and initialize them and how we can use scanf and printf to input and get data from the arrays. So, let me talk about an example like the whole point. What's the point of arrays? So, imagine you are writing a program that is in some part of that you are supposed to store all the pin codes in India. So one very naive way would be to do int pin 1 is equal to say some 6-digit number. Then int pin 2 is equal to some another 6-digit number. You can do it like this, but it will work, but it is a very tedious process because India probably has lakhs of pin codes and you can't manually enter them one by one. It will be way too hectic and it will make the program so rigid that you won't be able to make changes very quickly. So this is where arrays come in. Arrays were built to solve exactly this kind of problem when we have to store a lot of values of the same type under one common name. So that is actually the formal definition of an array. An array is defined as a data structure that we can use to store homogeneous data types, that is like types values of the same type. So you can also think of arrays as this box of n slots in it, and in each slot you can put a similar kind of value. So if you want to declare an array that can store integers and you want the size of that array to be 5, the syntax to do that is int array, we put a box bracket and we put 5. So this this will declare an array of size 5, but it will not have any values in it. To do that, to initialize this array with some values, you can use these curly brackets. So 1 2 3 4 5. This will put these values in the respective slots. So the first slot will have 1, second slot will have 2, and so on. But there is one thing, in computer science numbering starts from 0. So this 1 will actually be at the 0th index. So this 0 actually matters because when we try to access these terms, we have to follow the 0 from like the start from 0 scheme. So example, I want to print 3, which is the third term. So I have to do it like this: printf %d array of 2. So this is the second index, that is 0 1 2, and this will print 3. So we can do /a.out and 3. The syntax to access any element of an array is the name of the array, and we have to put a box bracket, and in the box brackets you have to mention the index. So to get the third element we put 2 because it is the second index. So the real power of arrays shine when we use them with for loops. So if you want to print all the elements of an array, you can do something like this: for int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. So this loop will iterate from 0 1 2 3 till 4. So that is exactly the indexes we need to print the array we want. So then we can put a printf %d and array of I. This will print all the elements in the array. I misspelled printf, sorry. There we go, 1 2 3 4 5. So now we can modify this for loop to print any sort of pattern or indexes or anything we need. This is one of the most like common programming snippets you'll use again and again and again when you use for loops. So now let's talk about how do we input data. So this is, we initialize the array in the code itself. What if we want the user to initialize the array via the keyboard? So we can use scanf for that. So I'll show you. We have to remove this initialization. So just declare the array, and then we can do like this. I'll paste the for loop here. from I equal to 0 less than 5 and all the same thing. This printf becomes scanf. I'll remove this new line, and it the same thing we do with variables. You put an ampersand before it, array of I. So this will wait until I give it 5 numbers, and then it will print those 5 numbers. So I'll compile this. So say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If you noticed, I put a space here to break it. You don't always have to put a new line or like a press enter to break the scanf. Scanf also breaks at spaces, but it will work the same if I do with enter. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and the same thing. So this is if you solve any problems in competitive programming, this snippet will be used a lot because that is how they usually provide input. They are integers spaced. They are like single spaced integers. So that is how you input data from an array and print data. You can also reassign values. For example, you can also do something like this. For every index of array, you want to store a 10th multiple of it. So you can do something like this. Int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, array of I is equal to 10 times I. So what this will do is at 0 it will put 0, at 10 it will put, at 1 it will put 10, at 2 it will put 20. So if you print this, I'll run this again. Yes, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. These are just some of the patterns that you can use with array for input and output. I think this is all for this video. Try different things with these ideas of just 2 for loops or maybe 3 for loops and trying to change values of arrays. In the next video, I'll talk about character arrays, multidimensional arrays, and how to use variable length arrays, because if you noticed here, you always have to mention the size of an array. But in a lot of scenarios, actually most of the scenarios, you never know what the size of the array should be. For example, if you're reading text from a file, or you're reading something from an API on the internet or something like that, you never know what the size of the array should be. So a dynamic length array is always helpful. We will talk about that in the next video. So if you liked this video, please subscribe to the DSC KIIT YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.